Well, the CTV News team this week wraps up Children Come First, the special series of reports on education. We've been looking at the educational achievement gap in Prince George's. To draw some comparisons, we've examined some neighboring jurisdictions like Baltimore and Montgomery counties. Tonight, we're at the Perry Street Preparatory Public Charter School in the district. Markette Smith was at the school last year when it was known as the Hyde School.
It's the middle of a school day, and a group of single mothers are gathered at Hyde Leadership Public Charter School in Washington, D.C.
You don't ever have conversations about things. You never know.
They've come to talk about the struggles of raising children in an urban environment.
You know what the biggest piece that hurts in urban families? Fatherlessness, missing dads.
Price is a single mother now faced with raising two of her grandchildren alone.
I've been raising kids 35 years nonstop. Wow. And most of my kids were in private school. So I was looking for quality. But yet, I didn't want to have to pay the phenomenal money that I have laid out for 3 other children.
And so she decided to enroll her 2 granddaughters into the Hyde program. It's one of the rare public schools that requires an interview in order to be accepted. And once enrolled, parents participate in group sessions like this one.
Dealing with children is just not the surface, it's always a root.
They also have mandatory monthly meetings at the school where they engage in discussions with their children, the teachers, and even other students and parents. The main focus is character building.
We don't do PTA, so we have we call them parent prep groups. And parents are assigned to a parent prep group. And in that group, sometimes I send home their monthly homework assignment in the mail, and sometimes they receive it when they come here from their group leader.
The school is based on the academic program of a private boarding institution in Maine that was founded in 1966. It has since then expanded to include both private and public schools along the East Coast. And the DC Public Charter School was founded in 1999.
Not only are the students, the parents, the administrators, the faculty is challenged, maintenance is challenged to grow. And in that, there's a feeling of security.
Parents at the DC school say it's an educational oasis in the midst of troubled surroundings. A majority of students come from low-income neighborhoods, and many come from homes without fathers.
I just want our kids fixed.
So what will happen is...
The school's principal is a single mother as well, an issue that was highlighted at one of her first parent meetings at the school.
The question was, who inspires you the most, your mother or your father? And my son said his father. And so I raised my son, of course, as a single mother for, 14 years. And I thought, wow, I never knew all this time you felt like that. And so it changed my mindset in terms of what type of conversations are you having with your son at home? Do you really feel like you're part of his aspirations? Do you really feel like you know your son? Like, I felt a major disconnect when that shift happened because I thought, okay, I interact on a daily basis with my son, but there were some gaps, obviously. And so from that, I took the process that we use here at school and I took it home in terms of having those intimate conversations. And so we would share out at home about where he was, where I was, and how we could kind of meet together. And that process has worked.
Whether the kids have parents, both parents, one parent, if they're living with a grandmother or not, I know that, in order for our kids to be successful, one of the major avenues that they can take is education. So even some of the kids that do have parents, did those parents necessarily go to colleges? Did they finish out, high school, et cetera, and I go with that in mind. And I never let the children use it as an excuse.
In urban cities in America, with the black families, we are in a crisis. A serious crisis in education. I didn't come from a family who talked education at all. My parents had 3 things. You either get married, go in the military, or get out the house when you turn 18. So that's all I grew up knowing. So they never taught college. So I didn't go to college until I was in my 40s, until I became on staff here at Hyde School. It's always something I wanted to do.
And now Hyde makes it her top priority to get parents to focus on their children's education so that the cycle she saw in her family is not repeated.
So when Ms. Hyde interviewed us And I saw that she cared about my family, not just about my children. And my children being good and getting good grades. It's like she cares about my family. She cares about what's going on in my house. She cares about my crazy behavior, because my behavior affects my children and how they perform at school.
I used to do this all the time when I was younger.
Perhaps the most notable success story in the school's 10-year history in Washington is Patrick Comignon, who is also known as PJ. PJ's life has taken a complete 180 turn since his days as a student at Hyde.
As a student, I never listened to nobody. I just did everything I wanted to do myself. I hung with the wrong crowd, and me just doing me.
The 2004 graduate is now the school's assistant athletic director. But at one time, he was known as a troubled kid who liked to pick fights. PJ says he remembers doing everything he could to get suspended while a student at Hyde. But instead, administrators made him take a 5 a.m. boot camp focused on the school's 5 academic principles.
Integrity, leadership. We have curiosity, we have brother's keeper, we have conscience, and what we do is basically, for example, the word of the month for this month is leadership. So everything focused around leadership. Within the classroom, outside of the classroom, how are we demonstrating that to the students? For the students, how are you demonstrating that to other students, to your parents? How are you holding your parents accountable?
In addition to his job at Hyde, PJ now tours the world as a professional rugby player. His mother, Mary, says he's a long way from the kid who started at Hyde in 1999. Without Hyde, she says she doesn't know where her son would be today.
I think he would be dead. Because he used to run away from home before I brought him to Hyde. And he would be gone like all weekend long and everything. So bringing him here, was the best thing. Saved his life and practically mine.
So what is it that makes Hyde different from other urban institutions?
I think what's different with Hyde is it's a leadership school, and it's like character-based, meaning like when you get in trouble, they're not just, first thing is not to suspend you or things like that. It's alternatives before they get to that point.
They look at your abilities, your personality, what you do, and how you are different from everybody else. They really want to get to know you. And they do it by family weekend, discovery group. If they see that you need help, they will apply you to like tutoring or Saturday Academy. And that's why I think they care.
And caring about future generations has become so important to some parents here that there's even talks of teaching a class on it.
Once we get that program going, there won't be enough space to build enough Hyde schools.
And that was Markette Smith reporting. Again, we want to mention that she refers to it as the Hyde School in the piece. That has now been renamed as the Perry Street Preparatory Charter School back in January.